right, guys, we're gonna do chemical changes reaction, I don't know, experiments. So I have here Coke, isn't it delicious, and whole milk. And I'm going to pour a whole bunch of it in there. Not too much because I don't want it to bubble. Ah! Okay, so if we start looking at it, you can notice it's starting to fizz, but that's actually not fizz. It's getting kind of chunky. It's like getting really gross. If we combine two or more liquids together and they start making all this kind of like solid stuff in it, we call this precipitate. We know a chemical reaction has occurred. We have two liquids, they come together. You don't think, two liquids together is going to make a solid, but that's actually what's in here. This is all solid. If we let it sit for a while, you can kind of tell that it's more of a solid. Like in this one, you can kind of see it floating around, all the chunks. It's kind of gross, but I mean, it's a good example of what a precipitate is. So again, two liquids together, making a solid, it's a precipitate. That's a chemical reaction. Next up, it looks like apple juice. I promise you it's not apple juice, it's vinegar. And in this little balloon, I have some baking soda. Just throw this on, let the baking soda go. And look at my balloon, it's filling up. So when I add two things together and it makes a balloon, it means we've got gas going on. Or it fills up a balloon, it means we've made a gas.
You can hear it fizzing.
Yep, you can hear it fizzing. You see all the bubbles. That is also a sign of a chemical reaction. So we can either make precipitate or we can produce gas. Those are pretty common things that you'll probably see if you bake a lot. You might actually see this happening as you're baking certain kinds of dishes. You also might see the precipitate, especially if you're doing making buttermilk. So we've got gas produced, we have precipitate. Next up, we have combustion, which is the fun stuff. Please don't do this at home without a parent right there with you, doing it with you, watching you every step of the way. But I have just an empty jar, piece of paper, fire, it's burning. With combustion, you usually see light, heat, there's usually a flame involved with it. Sometimes smoke, but we know this is going to be a chemical reaction because I can't undo that fire. That paper's now ash and it's not going to undo. Also, it produced a smell. You probably know the familiar smell of a campfire. That's what it smells like right now. You can see all the smoke going around. So that's another sign of a chemical reaction. The last one is kind of a mystery science. We kind of want y'all to figure out what kind of science you think, what kind of chemical reaction might be behind this one. I'm gonna do blue because blue sticks out pretty well. And then we just get a little bit of soap and we dip it in. If you watch, all the blue goes away. It kind of goes away from the center. So this is a chemical reaction, even though it just looks like all the blue just went off to the side. It is a chemical reaction. So kind of think what kind of chemical reaction you think that this might be. Maybe it's one we've talked about. Maybe it's one we haven't talked about. See if you can figure it out. You're more than welcome to research it. Or if you just think it's if you think you know what it is without even having to research it, go for it. All right, guys, I'll see y'all later.